So the fraud in Minnesota is out of control. And we've got somebody stepping up to try and expose this stuff. And they're being shot down by the local CNN reporters. Let's take a look.
How do you know that you're right? How do you know that all the allegations that you're making are true?
How do I know that they're true? Well, we showed you guys what was happening, and then you guys can go ahead and make your own analysis.
We're coming so we can make our own analysis. Are you 100% sure you're true?
Yeah, I am 100% sure I'm true.
That was conservative YouTuber Nick Shirley. His viral video where he's going door to door at daycares in the Minneapolis area and saying that he's uncovering massive amounts of fraud at Somali-run daycares has exploded on social media. Elon Musk retweeted the video. J.D. Vance retweeted the video. CNN is looking into Shirley's claims. This idea of fraud in Minnesota, though, is not new. In fact, for many, many years, the Department of Justice has been prosecuting cases against dozens of defendants, many of whom are concentrated in the Somali American community here in the Minneapolis area.
Wait a minute, say that again?
For many, many years, the Department of Justice has been prosecuting cases against dozens of defendants, many of whom are concentrated in the Somali American community here in the Minneapolis area.
Oh, so it's not the first time this has ever happened to these people. And it seems to be a long list of fraud that's been going on. And it even sounds like people have already been caught and arrested and prosecuted. And yet this is still going on. But you knew about it. And you're okay with sweeping it under the rug and making Nick Shirley seem crazy that he's just coming up with BS, even though you just stated that you have known about this exact thing. Man, it would be icing on the cake if this just happened under Joe Biden and we just swept it under the rug. Shh.
Yeah, some of those cases actually began under Biden's DOJ in 2022 for a various list of different types of frauds. And so far, there have been at least 80 people indicted, at least 56 convictions. Attorney General Pam Bondi responded to the Shirley video, as did the FBI Director Kash Patel. Both of them say federal law enforcement has been all over this from the beginning and has secured many indictments. Further, this has become a major political headache for Governor Tim Walz because Republicans here in Minnesota say he is ultimately responsible for these fraud issues, for not doing enough to have an adequate level of accountability.
And they would be absolutely right. As right now, today, Tim Walz, the tampon, he is now leaving. He is not going to run for re-election in 2026. So congratulations, everybody. That's one step. Now we need accountability.
Governor Walz says that he has done a lot. He's shut down one program. He's established a program integrity director. He says that he is doing what he can to try to root out this fraud.
The thing is, people always want to twist this as a Democratic or Republican thing. It is not a political thing. This here is about fraud. Hands down, straight up, that's all it is. You don't need to put a side to it. Like, the thing is, these people are here using our funds that should be going to us. I am a Minnesotan, and I absolutely take offense to this, but every single American should take offense to this because it's not just my money that's being stolen. These are funds from organizations of the federal government, so we all pay for these. Every bit of money that's being stolen is your money. Are you okay with that? I'm not. I've got 4 kids. That's their money being stolen. No, no.
What started as a daycare fraud investigation in Minnesota is now entering a far more serious phase. After the first arrests, investigators say the case did not stop at fake daycare centers. According to news sources close to the investigation, authorities are now tracing where the money actually went, and what they're finding is raising even more alarm. Bank records show public funds being moved through layers of shell accounts, routed across states, and withdrawn in cash within days. Some accounts were linked to individuals with no childcare background at all. Officials say this was not sloppy fraud. It was organized. Several properties tied to the case are now under surveillance. Others have been quietly shut down. Federal agencies are reportedly expanding audits beyond Minnesota, reviewing similar programs in other states. Meanwhile, families who depended on legitimate daycare assistance are now facing sudden disruptions as payments are frozen and facilities close overnight. Investigators warn this may not be a single state scandal, but a blueprint. And now a new question is spreading fast. If this system was exploited here, how many others are still operating unnoticed? More updates expected.
See, now this is where it gets large. Other programs, other funds from other things, and not just from Minnesota, Ohio, Washington. You've got areas like I heard California rampant, way larger than any other state. But right now, everything's on Tim Walz on Minnesota because they're the ones that got exposed. But here, you're talking about these daycares get funds from the state, from the government for watching a certain amount of children for a certain amount of time. They feed these children, and then a lot of them, I won't say most, I'll say a lot of them have been exposed and already have restaurants tied to these daycares that are either connected to them or right next to them, that they funnel the food in and out of there through other programs. So they're stealing from many different aspects of the government. It's not just daycares. And they've already shut down several different healthcare providers, false healthcare providers that will not help Americans. They won't. So you walk in there as a white or black or even Asian person, you're not going to get help. So no, we're out. We're going to expose it all.
I know just about everyone has seen the videos from Nick Shirley talking about what's happening with the Somali daycare centers in Minnesota. But did you know that in the state of Washington, there are 539 more Somali daycare centers? 539. Each receiving somewhere between $1.5 million to $4 million taxpayer money every year. Now, what do you think is going to happen when Nick catches a plane out to Washington? Do you think he's going to find that these Somali daycare centers actually have children there? Or do you think like me, and you think he's going to find more of the same that he found in Minnesota? But like, I just want y'all to think about that for a second, because like when we think about government spending, we're like 1.4 million, 1.5 million, 4 million. That's not that much money. First of all, yes, it is, especially since we're talking about state taxpayer funds. But I want you to think about that number for a second. 539. And let's say all of them got the minimal funding. If they each only got the absolute minimal funding, that's $755 million. What's more likely is it's over $1 billion. That is $1 billion of your taxpayer money going to people who aren't actually running a daycare, or as they were in Minnesota, a leering center. So either you care about fraud, waste, and abuse, or you don't. And that'll be determined whether or not you want to speak up about this. But if you're not going to speak up about this very obvious fraud, you're not going to speak up about billions of dollars of waste. That is obvious. And could you do me a favor and just shut the fuck up about everything else?
See, now that Minnesota is being investigated, you're going to start seeing others. And it's not just Democratic run states. Ohio is one as well. They've got a massive Somali and massive fraud going on right now. But then check this guy out, and he talks about Washington, and he talks about other funds that are going to be taken out as well, that they are stealing and obviously sending out to terrorist organizations.
There's a new update in the Minnesota daycare fraud case that Nick Shirley has been investigating, and it's worse than people thought. More evidence just came out, and a former Homeland Security investigator is now speaking up. Newly released surveillance footage shows parents dropping their kids off at a daycare, signing them in, and then taking them right back out minutes later. The kids never stayed, but on paper, they were marked as being there all day, and the government subsidies were still paid out. In some clips, parents are even seen taking cash on the spot. This wasn't a mistake. It looks coordinated. According to the former investigator, this exact setup was flagged years ago. Multiple daycare centers were investigated, and many of them barely had any kids inside, just paperwork, fake attendance logs, and steady government money coming in. The evidence was collected, cases were built, and then suddenly everything stopped. No charges, no explanation. The investigations just disappeared. That explains why so many of these daycares kept operating despite complaints and red flags. Why audits went nowhere. Why no one was ever held accountable. Now that old investigations are resurfacing and more footage is coming out, it's starting to look less like a few bad actors and more like a system that was allowed to keep going. This isn't just about wasted tax money. It's about trust in oversight and families who actually need real childcare. Do you think this was negligence, or was someone never meant to dig too deep? Drop your take in the comments.
Now, as you see, it's a big, massive thing that's happening right now. There's a ton of investigation, and it's not just going on in one single area. It's running rampant all over. But keep in touch by hitting that like and subscribe button, and if you could, hit that notification bell. It means a lot, and it costs you nothing. So, hey, I will be adding more as it comes up. I do have my next video planned out. Stay tuned. They've known about this since 2013.